Buying a house is very impressive at any age nowadays. It may be scary hearing that buying a future home or your home while you're in college and tackling tuition is not really ideal. I still think currently that it's not a reachable goal right now currently as a nursing student at Gateway. Fortunately, I went to a mortgagee and settled on a home loan, which brings me currently starstruck at the thought of owning a home. My very first home. Would have not accomplished this without the people around me, so thank you. Thank you, my mom and dad, for believing me in every step I take towards adulthood. And I always say, move with a purpose. My dad used to always say to me, actually. I grew up seeing my parents give me everything that they could, but they also worked for everything that they could give to me. And if that meant I slept alone at night, that was okay, because I knew that they had to do what they needed to do in order to support me and give me what I would desire, even though I wasn't a really needy child at all. But at that time, I didn't know what that meant, sleeping at home at night and having my parents work all the time. Which now turns out, I found out that supporting a family and home comes with dedication and, of course, money. Well, they tried their best to make my childhood not about the dollar sign. They did give me the best that they could, but while showing me that you have to work for what you get. Next is Carrie and Nick. And everyone that has helped me along this process, along with Carrie and Nick, because they do bring so many people around that do help and support a lot. Carrie and Nick have their own category. They've shown me to be confident and tough in my own ways and my own actions. My favorite saying by them is, not my pay, not my farm, not dealing with your manure, which pretty much stands for pound sand, to the things that you don't believe in your faith. I was such a people's pleaser before I met this family, and while I grew to know them, they grew to know me, and they've toughened me and hardened my shell. And they made me realize some of the pointless things I was doing because I thought it was for the best. Instead, I was making bad money and dealing with bad people, all while I had to put a smile on my face and wait for my next paycheck. Looking at it makes me see how much people used to take me for granted. I supplied the work with little to no money. I felt as if my work was more than just people taking advantage of me just because I didn't have the confidence to reach for greater things. Nick and Carrie have raised me to have a voice and move with a purpose. Carrie got me a job and that I didn't realize I would need. I got out of bad pay and bad people to sweet kids and decent pay, all while being surrounded by down-to-earth people. Nick and Carrie were the first ones off their seat, willing to come with Grant and I to look at this house. Let me be honest, Grant and I are young and clueless to adulting, and we wanted to have reliable resources with us to these houses. Grant is very skilled, don't get me wrong, and it's always nice to have multiple eyes on a building just in case we miss something. The majority of the houses we looked at and took a gander at were nothing pretty. The 2024 houses that were up for sale were poverty homes for the price of nice cookie cutters back in 2016. The options out in the houses were slim to none for the price range we were aiming for. It was heartbreaking to witness all as first home buyers. Though Nick and Carrie made sure that we didn't put our heads down and we kept on looking. Ryan and I desired to live in a small town in a small house with small problems, but with a huge yard. Leading us to Carrie, insisting on going to this listing. Just 10 minutes away from family and friends. Grant and I were both in a daze that morning, and Carrie insisted that we saw this house. And so we got up We didn't know at the time, but Grant and I were on our way to a future home. When we finished with the showing, it was the first one in a while that had actually good bones. We saw the potential, so Grant and I put in a bid, and we added a sappy letter to the seller in hopes they choose us. Before I get too ahead of myself, I wanted to say the biggest thank you to my other half. Without Grant, I wouldn't be where I am today. Building a dream house with my dream man. It has shown me that mistakes are going to happen, so how are you going to learn if you don't mess up here and there? Taking his advice brought me to where I am now, grinding to get my degree all while working and purchasing my first home with my significant other. He makes me feel accomplished with him and needed in the right places. He is so independent, but there is a need and a trust that we both have for each other, that push us to do better for each other. It makes us inseparable. Grant works his butt off, working 10 plus hours a day outside doing hard labor year round, and goodness, am I proud of him. I'm his second biggest supporter, clipping at his mother's heels at the top spot. Though his mother will do anything for her family, I know I'm learning from her and will fit right into those shoes. To be honest, she's cleaning her shoes off as we speak to give to me to continue her legacy, not as a mother to her son, but as a supporter to her son. Grant, without you, we wouldn't be here as we speak. Thankfully, we balance each other out by allowing me to sort out the papers that you bring home. We both agree on the saying, make money and memories, not just memories. That's a key saying in our mind because many people just live for money, and that's how some live. But Grant and I want to live bigger and better. We want to be able to be there for our kids when the time comes and not have to worry financially. Grant will accomplish that by hustling while we're young and having the energy, and then when it's time to settle down, we'll be there not only physically but mentally as well. It may sound far-reaching coming from a 21-year-old that we can mentally and physically be free when we have children. But when you put your mind to it, like we have, anything is possible. Just like being first-time homeowners in the rough house market of 2024. Thank you for all the time. Thank you all for taking the time to be with Grant and myself during this huge change in our lives. We appreciate and love you all.